if you are not a football fan or if you are not a Premier League fan, I beg you, don't even click on this video, because this video is purposely made for only football fans or people who enjoy Premier League football. They will appreciate this video. I'm back again with my Premier League predictions. Game week 36. As we all know, we just have 3 more game weeks for the entire season to come to an end. And you know, since Manchester City got that 3-3 draw against Everton in the midweek, it has placed everything in the hands of Arsenal. Right now, it's up to them. If they bottle it, we don't know when they can win the Premier League again. So going into this game with 36, I'm going to give out my bold predictions and looking at the relegation battle too between Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham United and Nottingham Forest. These 3 teams, one of them can go for relegation. And what do I think will happen? If you look at the fixtures for this game week, Arsenal is going to play against West Ham United. Arsenal need that 3 points to chase the trophy, and West Ham also need that 3 points to escape relegation. Who do I think will get results in this game week? So going into this game week, I'm predicting with so many anticipation, with so many things at stake. Stick with me to the end of this video and you know what I think about the entire league. Without wasting much of your time, if you're new and subscribe to the channel, like this video, make sure you like this video, kindly make sure you like this video and comment your thoughts and your predictions at the comment section. My name is Andy Final, and without wasting much of your time, let's get started with the game week 36 predictions. Alright, starting off the game with 36 predictions at Anfield is early kickoff on Saturday. It's between Liverpool versus Chelsea. This is a big game coming up in game week 36. Liverpool hosting Chelsea at Anfield. In the first leg of this fixture at the Stamford Bridge, Chelsea managed to beat Liverpool by 2-1. Caicedo got the first goal and Cody Gakpo got the equalizer. And 9 minutes into the game, William Esteval got the winner for Chelsea to get a 2-1 victory over Liverpool in the first leg. And the return encounter coming up at Anfield. What do I think is going to happen? Before that, let's look at the Premier League table as it stands right now. Looking at Liverpool, they are 4th on the Premier League table with 58 points plus of 12 goals. Talking about Chelsea, they are at the moment 9th on the Premier League table with 48 points plus of 6 goals. So going into this game, it's a must-win game for Chelsea. If at least they want to get European football like Conference League, Europa League, that's why they have a final to play against Man City in the FA Cup. And if they win that game, they are going to play in the Europa League. But still, going to this game is a game that Chelsea need to win. Looking at their results, game week 35, Chelsea lost 3-1 against Nottingham Forest, a team struggling at the relegation bottom. And Liverpool also lost 3-2 against Manchester United. So looking at both teams, they lost their games in game week 35. Going to this game in game week 36 at Anfield, what is my score prediction? I'm predicting Chelsea to get a draw in this game against Liverpool. My score prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 2. Right, moving on to the next game at the Emirates Stadium in game week 36 is between Brighton versus Wolves. The first leg of this fixture ended in a 1-1 draw. And going into this game in game week 36, Brighton hosting Wolves, a team who has already been relegated. Looking at the league table, Brighton at the moment, they are 8th on the Premier League table with 50 points plus of 7 goals. And Wolves is 20th at the bottom, 18 minus of 38 goals. And Wolves are already relegated, so they don't need these points for anything. And going into this game, Brighton also need the 3 points to secure a spot in Europe next season. It can be the Conference League or the Europa League, but whatever. Going into this game is a very difficult game between Brighton versus Wolves. What is my score prediction? What do I think will happen at the Emirates Stadium? I'm predicting Brighton to get a 3-1 victory over Wolves. Brighton 3, Wolves 1. Moving on to the next game at the Craven Cottage in game week 36 is between Fulham versus AFC Bournemouth. This is going to be a very difficult game. Looking at Fulham in game week 35, lost 3-0 against Arsenal. AFC Bournemouth also managed to get a 3-1 victory against Crystal Palace in game week 35. And game week 36 is going to be a difficult game. Looking at Bournemouth, they are unbeaten in almost 10 consecutive Premier League games. And do I think Fulham can get the results against Bournemouth? Looking at their position, Bournemouth at the moment, they are sit on the Premier League table with 52 points plus of 3 goals. Fulham, talking about them, they are also 11th on the Premier League table with 48 points minus of 5 goals. So going into this game, in the first leg or the first encounter of these two teams, Bournemouth managed to get a 3-1 victory over Fulham. Could they get another victory over Fulham again, since they are going to Fulham's home at the Craven Cottage? What is my score prediction, or what do I think will happen at the Craven Cottage? I'm predicting AFC Bournemouth to get a 2-1 victory over Fulham. AFC Bournemouth 2, Fulham 1. Moving on to the next game at the Stadium of Light in game week 36 is between Sunderland versus Manchester United. Looking at these two teams, the first leg of this game ended in a 2-0 victory for Manchester United. And coming on for the return encounter at the Stadium of Light in game week 36, Manchester United playing against Sunderland. What do I think will happen? Let's look at both teams on the league table. As it stands now, Manchester United is third on the Premier League table with 64 points plus of 15 goals. Talking about Sunderland, they are also 12th on the Premier League table with 47 points minus of 9 goals. So going into this game with 36 against Manchester United at the Stadium of Light, what is my score prediction? Well, that's why Manchester United got a 3-2 victory against Liverpool in game with 35, where Sunderland also got a 1-1 draw against Wolves, a team who was already relegated. I think it was a difficult game for Sunderland. What is my score prediction? Well, I'm predicting Manchester United to get a 2-1 victory over Sunderland. Manchester United 2, Sunderland 1. Moving on to the next game is at the Etihad Stadium in game week 36 is between Manchester City versus Brentford. This could be a league decider game. Man City playing against Brentford. Looking at the first leg of this game ended in a 2-0 victory for Manchester City. And while the return encounter coming up in game week 36, right now looking at the standings, Manchester City is second on the Premier League table with 71 points plus of 37 goals. And going to this game against Brentford side, who is also at the moment 7th on the Premier League table with 51 points plus of 6 goals. What do I think will happen at the Etihad Stadium? Could Manchester City still chase Arsenal for this Premier League title? This is a game to decide if they still can chase for it. And well, what is my score prediction? Manchester City in their recent game just did fall against Everton by getting a 3-3 draw against Everton. And Brentford also got a 3-0 victory against West Ham United, a team who is also struggling at relegation. So going into this game is a very difficult game, but I'm predicting Manchester City to get a 3-1 victory over Brentford. Manchester City 3, Brentford 1. Moving on to the next game at the 12th more in game week 36 is between Burnley versus Aston Villa. This is going to be a very good game coming up in game week 36. Looking at Aston Villa, in the first leg got a 2-1 victory over Burnley. And looking at the standings as it stands in game week 35, Aston Villa at the moment they are 5th on the Premier League table with 58 points plus of 4 goals. Talking about Burnley, they are 19th with 20 points minus of 36 goals, and they are already relegated. So going into this game, they don't need a point for anything. Talking about Aston Villa, they need the 3 maximum points to secure their spot in the Champions League spot. So it's going to be a very good game for Aston Villa, and I'm predicting Aston Villa to get victory over Burnley. What is my score prediction? I'm predicting Aston Villa to get a 2-0 victory over Burnley. Aston Villa 2, Burnley 0. Moving on to the next game at the Selhurst Park in game week 36 is between Crystal Palace versus Everton. This is going to be a very difficult game coming up at the Selhurst Park. In the first leg of this game, Everton managed to get a 2-1 victory over Crystal Palace. And going to this game, both teams don't need a point for anything looking at their positions on the league table. As it stands right now, Everton at the moment they are 10th on the league table with 48 points plus of 0 goals. Talking about Crystal Palace, they are also 15th on the Premier League table with 43 points minus of 6 goals as it stands in game week 35. What is my score predictions? For that, looking at their results in game week 35. Everton managed to get a 3-3 draw against Manchester City. Crystal Palace also lost 3-0 against AFC Bournemouth in game week 35. My score prediction in this game coming up in game week 36 is going to be Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1. Moving on to the next game in game week 36 is at the City Ground. It's between Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle United. Looking at the first leg of this fixture, Newcastle managed to get a 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. And at the moment, if you look at both teams on the league table, Newcastle at the moment are 13th on the Premier League table with 45 points, minus of 2 goals. Talking about Nottingham Forest, they are also 16th on the league table with 42 points, minus of 2 goals as it stands in game week 35. Their results in game week 35, Nottingham Forest managed to beat Chelsea by 3-1 at the Stamford Bridge, and Newcastle also managed to get a 3-1 victory over Brighton in game week 35. So going to this game, both teams are coming from a win in their respective games in game week 35. What is my score prediction in this game between Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle? I'm predicting this game to end in a 1-0 victory for Newcastle United. Newcastle United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Moving on to the next game at the London Stadium in game 36 is between West Ham United versus Arsenal. This could be a title decider game. Talking about West Ham United, they are struggling for relegation, and Arsenal is also pushing to win the Premier League title. So going into this game, it's a must-win game for both teams. And while looking at the first leg of this game, Arsenal managed to get a 2-0 victory over West Ham United. And while Ryan looking at the standings, Arsenal is on top of the Premier League table with 76 points plus of 41 goals. Talking about West Ham United, they are also 18th at the relegation bottom with 36 points, minus of 19 goals. So looking at how things are going right now, the team that is close to West Ham United is Tottenham Hotspur. They have 37 points, minus of 9 goals, and West Ham has 36 minus of 19. So right now, things look shaky for both teams, and West Ham going to this game against Arsenal, who is also trying their possible best to win their first ever Premier League trophy after the invincible. So this is going to be a very crucial game for Arsenal. What is my score prediction? Could Arsenal get upset by West Ham? Probably no. My score prediction is going to be a 2-0 victory for Arsenal. Arsenal to West Ham United 0. Moving on to the last game in game week 36 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is between Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds United. This is a tricky game. Looking at the standings, Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, they need the 3 maximum points to escape relegation. And looking at the standings, where Leeds United are, they are 14th with 43 points, and Tottenham is 17th with 37 minus of 9. So if you look at how things are going, since Leeds United are quite a little bit safe when you talk about relegation, they can't go for relegation from this point. Looking at how things are going, we just have 3 more games to go, and anything can happen. But still, looking at how things are going, Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds United. The first leg of this fixture, Tottenham Hotspur managed to get a 2-1 victory over Leeds United. Another win for Tottenham Hotspur boost their chance of surviving in the Premier League. If you are not shocked as Tottenham fan, then there's something wrong. What is my score prediction going into this game? Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds United. My prediction in this game says in game week 35, Tottenham Hotspur managed to beat Aston Villa by 2-1, and Leeds United also in game week 35 managed to get a 3-1 victory over Burnley in game week 35. So my score prediction in this game is going to be another 2-1 victory for Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur to Leeds 1. Alright, there is one outstanding game that will be playing in the midweek, and because it's just a solo game, I can't just put only that game. I can't just do a whole video for just only one game, so I have to add it to this. That is a game between Manchester City versus Crystal Palace, and this could also be another game to boost Manchester City's chance of winning the Premier League. If Arsenal fumble along the way, then this game could also be a title decider. Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. Do I think Manchester City? Because if you look at the first leg of this fixture, Man City also managed to get a 3-0 victory over Crystal Palace in the first leg. So going to this game is a must win for Manchester City. Right now, all their remaining game is a must win. They can't afford to drop points. If they want to push Arsenal to the final day, then this is a must win game for Manchester City. Going into this game, what is my score prediction? I think Manchester City will manage to get a 2-1 victory over Crystal Palace in this outstanding game. Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 1. So these are my predictions for game week 36. Let me know your thoughts and your minds at the comment section. My name is Andrew Final. Make sure you like this video, comment at the comment section, and I'll be there to interact with you. Till we meet in another video.